For more on that angle, I want to bring in Tony Battista. He is a senior partner at the Sandstone Group, and he's a retired Canadian Armed Forces colonel. And Tony, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
I want to start, before we talk, I want to start by playing you some of Donald Trump's remarks from Sunday talking about the U.S. military relationship with Canada. Have a listen.
They don't pay very much for military, and the reason they don't pay much is they assume that we're going to protect them. That's not an assumption they can make, because why are we protecting another country now?
What's your reaction when you hear talk like that from the President of the United States?
Well, my first reaction, Andrew, is that is really the issue that President Trump is getting at. We have had an amazing defense relationship, likely the most successful in the world, very strong, starting with the PJBD, the Permanent Joint Board on Defense, in 1940, and the list goes on with NORAD, Five Eyes, NATO. We have the Combined Defense Plan. We have the Military Cooperation Committee from all the way back to 1946. And so it has been an incredible relationship. However, in the last decade or so, and perhaps even further than that, our defense relationship has been lopsided. Canada has not kept up to its part of the relationship. Obviously, it's going to be somewhat lopsided because of the size of the two militaries, the size of the two countries. But I think that President Trump has a point. We have not kept up to our part of the bargain.
So Canada has not kept up to a part of the bargain in terms of that 2%, say, NATO commitment of defense spending. It's, I think, at 1.37% and has gone up, but not to that 2%. Back 10 years ago, it was at 0.9%. So it has been low for a long time, right? And it's kind of gone up more in the last few years. Yep, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're right. If you look at that part of the argument of the percentage of the GDP, we have not kept up to that part of our agreement. But it's much more than that. It's the capacity and the capability. We have, 1.4 billion square kilometers of Arctic coast. It's all about our sovereignty. And if we don't step up on the security and defense side, our sovereignty is at stake.
Our sovereignty is at stake, but I just want to get back to, listening to the words of the U.S. president. It seems to be, do you think that he is implying that maybe he could withdraw from NATO? And for him to say that Canada should not assume protection based on the amount of money that is spent on defense, would that not be against, the U.S. and Canada are still in NATO, isn't that kind of against NATO and Article 5, which is an attack on one is an attack against all? And so if we were to be attacked, that they would not come and support us in the way that when it was invoked for the only time in its history, which was after 9/11, Canada went to war with the Americans and the British and others in Afghanistan.
Well, a couple of points here, Andrew. One is, I honestly don't think that Canada needs to be overly concerned about America, the United States, intervening militarily in Canada. So I don't think that that's the real issue. And I don't think President Trump has ever made that comment. The second point is that he is unpredictable, and that's part of his strategy. So I don't think that the United States will pull out of NATO, but I think the current equation of who provides what to whom within the NATO alliance is going to change. And what Trump is trying to do, certainly with the Europeans, is that they need to do more than just talking. They need to take action in strengthening their defense posture. And the same is true for Canada. We have been doing a lot of talking, but we haven't taken the necessary steps to strengthen our defense and security posture.
Okay, I just want to be clear on what I was saying, because I kind of rambled on the question. But when I listened to what the U.S. president was saying, he said that Canada has basically maybe not contributed enough to defense because Canadians have relied on the assumption that Americans would come to our protection if Canada would in a hypothetical situation, be attacked by who knows who. And he said they shouldn't make that assumption. My question to you is the American president signaling, you know what, you could be on your own?
Well, that is the potential threat here, or concern. But I think the president is right in saying that we just can't assume that somebody else is going to defend us. Yes, we are stronger in an alliance. Yes, we are stronger in a partnership and relationship with the United States. But that means that we also do our part. And he's trying to awaken us that we have not been doing our part.
But then a final question to you is, you know, for instance, when 9/11 happened and Article 5 was invoked because it was deemed to be an attack on the United States, Canada spent billions of dollars. We know that dozens and dozens of soldiers died in Afghanistan. Canada was there for many, many years. Just to hear an American president kind of saying, well, I don't know, like if you were attacked, maybe not. Maybe we wouldn't come to your aid. Does that not, as a former, I don't know, as a former person in the Canadian Armed Forces, does that not make you pause or make you wonder?
Absolutely, and it hurts, frankly. It's frustrating. It hurts. I was in the United States working with the Americans on 9/11, and I know exactly what we did and how much they appreciated. But Andrew, the world has changed on us. Ever since the Russian brutal attack on Ukraine of 2022, the international order has been changing, and it continues to change to the point where the rules-based international order is now being turned around and being used against the Western democracies. So we have to step up. We have to change our own way. I don't think we're going to lose the relationship with the United States. You know, presidents come and go, frankly, but we have to think and act strategically. Otherwise, we're going to be on our own, and our sovereignty will suffer.
Tony, good to talk to you. Thank you. Tony Battista is a senior partner at the Sandstone Group and a retired Canadian Armed Forces colonel.